Alright guys, so here we are with the finals tiebreaker. This battle determines who wins SPL, ABR for the Wi-Fi Wolfpack, or TDK for the Team Raiders. Now ABR looks to be going back to his roots with some Magirna, Toxic, Clefable stuff. We do see TDK, which does have a Glide score, and Glide score is actually a huge problem for ABR's team, depending on the set. Venusaur can also be annoying with knockoff / leech seed. Looks like Zone is only going to be there to actually... Specs could still be... I don't know. I'm definitely curious to see what type of Greninja that is. Basically, it could be Spikes. Battle Bond is also, I think, less of a threat to ABR. He has 2 good Dark resistances and 2 decent Water resistances. Well, one being Toxpex, which honestly resists any set that Greninja wants to go for. And the other, of course, being Latios, which can take at least a Hydro Pump if it needs to. Now, again, like I said, this battle is very, very important. If it is SPL Glide score, it also always comes in on any attack that Heatran can go for. So we'll probably see it coming in on Heatran if Heatran wants to go for Magma Storm, just roosting it off. I'm honestly thinking this will be a long battle for sure as well. But let's just get into it, especially because this Tornadus just comes in versus everything. So we do see Tornadus lead versus Heatran. Tran could be a Scarfer. Tran could also be just a Rocker, just support variant as well. Scarfer could also just be Landorus in its own right, because Landorus just matches up really well, or just is a good Scarfer in general. But Heatran as a lead matched up well versus everything besides Gliscor and Greninja. I'm assuming it would be a Magma Storm variant. We do see U-turn from TDK, so we know that's not Scarf Heatran unless it's obviously Scarf that. And like I said, the Gliscor would be coming in all the time on this Heatran, and oh man, that turn 1 could have been really bad. That turn 1 could have been really bad if he actually got the burn immediately, because he had nothing, unless it was Healing Wish on Clefable or Heal Bell. That turn 1 could have been really bad, but of course we'll see as the battle ends up going, if he actually did end up having it. But like I said, Gliscor will more than likely be coming in on Heatran. We are going to see a Roost come off. Yep, Clefable is going to come out. Honestly, I wouldn't pull it past ABR to have Ice Beam on this Clefable, especially because TDK has used Gliscor on a few squads that he's used. Though if it is like a Calm Mind, I'm assuming it's Taunt Gliscor because it's SPDF, though it could be SD. But if it's like a Calm Mind Clefable with like stored power, it could be a little bit annoying. But we are going to see Stealth Rock go up as Gliscor does go for the SD, and this is really, really bad. Unless that's Unaware Clef, this is really bad because he doesn't have, ABR doesn't appreciate SD Gliscor at all. SPDF SD Gliscor plows through his team, and it runs Facade and it runs Earthquake, and Facade is relatively free right now. Hits Landorus, hits Latios upon switching. You are going to see Latios come out on the Facade. Yep. And it takes 83%. Mega Latios, I'm more than likely thinking. Draco does not knock out TDK at all. It literally has to have Ice Beam or Specs. Now TDK could just make the play and just go directly out into... I don't honestly, Greninja's too aggro, but if it's Assault Vest Tornadus, Tornadus is the play, I think. Though I could assume, or we could assume that ABR, if he is Mega Latios, which he should be, he's going to Mega Evolve and just go for Roost. It does get the defense buff. We do see Magna Zone come out. If it's Scarf Zone, this makes sense, as we are going to see an Ice Beam come out. Ooh, and we see the freeze immediately. So if this is Scarf Magna Zone and he actually does Thaw, yep. Basically, he would have been able to get rid of Latios right there, and I think TDK would have won the game with SD Gliscor immediately. I don't know how ABR would have been able to deal with that. Like, it has to be like SD Supersonic Sky Strike Landers to even be able to deal with it, honestly. But we're going to see another Roost coming off on Latios. Smart, because now it will infinitely wall the Gliscor. So what would have been essentially an easier game is now gone. Clef comes out. We're probably going to see rocks go up. Yep. Nice rocks as Heatran is going to come in. Now, we don't see an item on Tran, and I don't think it's Scarf unless it is Scarf Tornadus. Like I said, I don't think it's Scarf Heatran unless it's Scarf Tornadus. So I'm pretty sure it's Z. Could also be... I don't think it'd be Shucka. I feel like Shucka is kind of trash, especially because of the fact that Landorus probably kills you through Shucka. This is not no Flygon meta, but we do see... a Magma Storm come out, and this is really interesting because if this is Bloom Doom Heatran or Inferno Overdrive, and Gliscor actually ends up going for Roost right here on the Tran, then Heatran could actually pick up a KO. Bloom Doom, obviously, it would lose its flying type, so it would be super effective. And Inferno Overdrive, just based on the Magma Storm damage, Inferno Overdrive would do a ton too. Then again, that Magma Storm did so much, like 60%? What? Is that just standard, or is that Specs? I feel like Specs Loudplume would have done at least 50, though. Maybe that is Specs. Let me count this. I have the calc right here. I might as well figure out what type of trend that is. So we're gonna see the roost come out on TDK slot, and like I said, like this could have been a little bit easier without that freeze right there. But we're gonna calc that heat ran. That's definitely Spadef Gliscor. Like that's just for sure Spadef Gliscor. It would run a little bit more HP than this. It would run 279. 279 for heat ran, and the rest would be in Spadef. Nah, that's definitely not specs. No way it's specs, because Gliscor has to run enough speed to outspeed heat ran, which is what TDK would definitely run. I've had a few TDK teams, and you want that, you want outspeed heat ran. It also needs to, yeah, that's probably just a Z heat ran, if anything. So we're going to see a double onto Landers right now. I'm more than likely expecting Clefable to want to come out. As Greninja comes out right there, either expecting Ice Beam or Psychic. That's smart because I don't think ABR would have ever gone for Draco right there, considering all he has. And we are going to see a really aggressive play on ABR's part. Goes for U-turn, as Greninja is going to go for what is more than likely the Scarf Spike. So the defogger could of course be either Lati or Lando, Scarf Lando. If it is defog Lati, then it's only running Ice Beam, defog, Roost, what, maybe Bolt Beam? Bolt Beam could definitely be something. I can see it running Bolt Beam, which is actually really threatening for TDK. I feel like Thunderbolt doesn't do enough to Tox Spec, so I could be wrong. It could just be 3 attacks as well. 3 attacks Roost. Heat Ran comes out. Gliscor, if it is, I feel like if ABR is going to make a play right now, he's going to go for Magma Stone first, and then he's just going to go for Inferno Overdrive. Like, if he does have it. I feel like he does have it, too. He's running Double Fire as well. But that was more than likely Scarf Gren right there, and ABR risked the Ice Beam and went right for the U-turn. So that's really big, too. Because getting rid of Lando, if it is Scarf Lando, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But we do see Magnezone come out. As he goes for Lava Plume, I would have thought him if he, if he wasn't frozen. But this does allow Gliscor to come out right now, and we are going to see more than likely the Latios come out on what I want to see a potential facade. Now, TDK actually has to go for the facade here or the Earthquake because he actually needs the recovery. Because after rocks, Gliscor takes 60, and then the Magma Storm damage. So if he ever comes back in on it, I don't think he'd be able to take it well. Maybe he'd just live it just a smidgen, but yeah, that's crazy how that really early turn freeze really shifted the game, because that was a really smart play on TDK's part, going route to Magnezone, because especially with Scarf, it pretty much forced the KO on Latios if anything. And had he not gotten that, Latios would have had to make some really aggressive doubles to try and roost up, which it doesn't do too well versus the majority of his team. So double out to Greninja right there. Let's see if he ends up going Lati, as he does get in Lati. So this is nice. That runs in with the U-turn as well. Lati can eat that if he wants to, as he is going to go Tox Specs right here, which does give him the the U-turn. More than likely back out in the Gliscor, which can deal with this anyway. And I think what he's trying to do is put Latios in range of an unboosted Facade, so that way ABR is forced to pretty much sack something before going right out to Latios. I don't know what other play you would make here, unless it's Stealth Rock Combine Clef. Stealth Rock Combine Clef is also kind of threatening, if it's not like Steelium, Heat Ran, or Taunt. I think on both sides, though, it could be Stealth Rock Combine Clef, especially if it's like an Infestation Tox Spec or something like that, to basically stall out Venusaur and whatnot, and Pokemon like that. But TDK is more likely to go Gliscor here, or you could see a knockoff from Tornadus coming. T-Spec isn't too much of a problem for TDK's team. He has a Poison type, he has a Magic Guard Mon. In fact, if he gets T-Spike, that means he can't get paralyzed or frozen. And Gliscor obviously is just a resistance to a status anyway. So we do see Tornadus come out, so I could see him just going for knockoff here, or a Supersonic Sky Strike. I think you go for knockoff first, though, as I think ABR should go for recover. But we see Magearna come out. If it's Z, it makes sense. As we do see the knockoff, let's see if it's Assault Vest. It is Assault Vest Magearna. Well, with the hazards up, Magearna actually is in range of Earthquake now from Gliscor, so that's really good. The Stealth Rock plus Spikes. We know that's no setup Magearna as well. So like I said, it is in range of hazards, and this does give him the freest Venusaur of his life, though he could Volt Switch. Throws off a Flare Cannon. So this gives Venusaur the Mega and potentially a Synthesis. Of course, ABR is just going to go for Volt Switch, slow Volt Switch, yep. This is live, by the way, if you guys can't tell. Just talking about what they're going to do. They're just to make their best plays possible. But Magearna should be in range of Earthquake now from Gliscor. It'll probably be really close, but I'm pretty sure it is. It'll do somewhere around 50, I think. And this does give him Latios if it does have Psychic. Now, if Latios does not have Psychic, it can't beat this. It shouldn't be able to beat TDK's Venusaur if it does have Leech Seed. But if he does go Latios and does go for Psychic, TDK could make the aggressive play of going Greninja, or he could just go Tornadus if anything. But we see Landers come out. Now Landers went for U-turn last time. It could just go for Defog here if it wants to. I feel like that's a relatively safe play unless it is actually Sky Strike. But I'm really sure just based on the team mechanics that the Heat ran is the Zmon, and then this Landers is just gonna Scarf Defog. Yeah. So Venusaur able to get some beautiful damage off on Lando. As rocks go up, a -1 Facade should be able to knock out Scarf Lando at that range. This also gives TDK potential Gliscor switching if he wants to, just to get a little bit more recovery. That way he can come back in on the incoming Heat Rain anyway. Or, which I think is a solid play regardless. Like he just gets that extra turn of Toxic Orb. We do see Magearna come out, as he is going to go for Sludge Bomb. That's smart too. That covered the Latios switch as well. And keeping Latios pressured is really nice for Gliscor as well. Ooh, we do see an Earthquake too at -1. I mean, again, that chip damage would have been the equivalent to the Stealth Rock plus Spike anyway on Magearna. And again, just helping Gliscor. Like I said, I think that TDK's win con is going to be his Gliscor. And it just got a lot harder due to the fact that he didn't get rid of Latios early. Because I legitimately don't see, or didn't see a way that ABR won at that point. I'm sure he had some little tricks, but especially because he's Defog on Scarf Lando. So he'd be like U-turn, Defog, HP Ice, and Earthquake maybe. Sona just fine too. Nice Sludge Bomb. Alright, so let's see if ABR makes the classic stay in with the Pokemon that will die the next turn because my opponent is going to predict and go for Earthquake. Let's see if ABR ends up doing that or just goes directly out into Toxapex, which is his better play. Okay. So typically what ABR likes to do, water types versus Pokemon. I mean, obviously Clefable wasn't a water type, but a lot of things that ABR likes to do is that stay in, do some damage, and then expect my opponent to over-predict that turn. He didn't end up doing it there. The interesting thing is though, if Clefable comes in on his Toxapex, because he's opting or trying to get up rocks, his own Clefable would be able to recover anyway. So yeah, and Gliscor's always on the passive. Man, I love ABR, I love TDK, both great guys, but I really want to see how the game would have gone if, you know, he did thaw that turn or did not get frozen. I think if he didn't get frozen, it would have been cooler anyway, because I think ABR would have had to make, again, aggressive plays to get back in Latios to Roost, and I think that TDK's Gliscor would have had a lot easier of a time. But it's interesting to see, because I think at this point, I feel like TDK is the one fighting back. Not only did, you know, the freeze happen and he lost zone, but also ABR made a nice little aggressive play with his Lando and expected either him to not go for Ice Beam or just not be Scarf at that point. And even though his team is really weak to Volcarona, so it makes sense that he's Scarf as well. So he probably expected the Spike right there and just got the damage off of Greninja, so Greninja can't come in as much either. Ooh, nice. And we do see a Psychic come out on the Clefable. So Heat Rain comes out on the soft boiled. Again, this is a problem. This mod is a problem if he ever plays aggressively with it too. Like, it knocks out Greninja with any attack it goes for. Tornadus, if it's not Assault Vest, and I'm thinking it's Defog based on this team, Defog, Supersonic, Sky Strike, it can come in at anything of it. It can come in on anything anyway. And like, again, if he makes the aggressive play of going for a Z move versus Gliscor, though I don't know if ABR would go for it, Gliscor can just go down, and that just might be the end of it for TDK, because I don't see him breaking through his team otherwise. Ooh. You know what's funny? ABR's on the Wolfpack, and this is the one year I'm not on the Wolfpack. Like, I've been retained by them for every year, and this is the one year I'm not on the Wolfpack. And Wolfpack is in finals, man. It's the YouTuber curse. that's a little joke like Blunder, me, Chimpack, and all us. We always say, because whenever we were in finals, we haven't really won or gotten a trophy. I mean, well, in Blunder's case, he hasn't gotten a trophy. So Gliscor comes in. We're going to see the Magma Storm. It doesn't connect. Okay, so that was just a higher roll last time. Magma Storm is going to connect. This always gives Latios a free switch-in, and the second that Latios gets a Spadef drop on Clefable, it's really bad for TDK, because then he's always on the defensive. So he's forced to roost every single time with Gliscor too, and no hazards up either, so ABR can just make these free switches. Yeah, ABR can just make these free switches too. So Gren comes in either on the expected Ice Beam or Psychic, as he does throw off an Ice Beam, and Greninja goes down. So not only does he lose spikes up this game, he also loses a Scarfer that can deal with potentially Landorus and whatnot. Now, this Tornadus could knock him out with Supersonic Sky Strike. As TDK does go for the defog, expecting him to want to switch out right there. I'm trying to be enthusiastic about this, but I don't see TDK winning, guys. I really don't see TDK winning. I feel like that turn was just too big all the way up here. I mean, Gliscor gets to come in, which is cool, but every single time Gliscor roosts, maybe if he gets like a Facade crit or something, because every single time Gliscor roosts, it gives a free Latios switch in, and Gliscor has to be at full HP to come in on Heatran every single time too, so he really is on the passive, or the end of it. So this is interesting because it basically means that ABR is going to sack, I think, Clefable in order to get in Latios, and expecting him to SD, he actually doubles out into his Latios as TDK made the Tornadus play to potentially defog, get back in Gliscor, and this does give him Earthquake. I don't think Earthquake actually knocked out ABR 63%. There's no way it does, just based on the way Gliscor was taking those hits. Based on the way Gliscor was taking those hits, there's no way Earthquake knocks him out. And if ABR does actually have Ice Beam and he gets rid of Gliscor, then he just clicks Psychic with his Mega Latios. I feel like this is a really ABR team, too. And this is a really TDK team, in my opinion. Like, this is stuff I can expect. Definitely Gliscor is something I can expect. And from ABR, I think Mega Latios, Tox, Spectre Clef, Magearna for sure. Surprised not Scarf Magearna. But Magearna for sure. Though maybe when there's Hurricane, there is a way. And honestly, Tornadus will eat any hit from Lando. The best thing he could do is probably HP Ice, most likely, unless it's running Explosion. It's more likely HP Ice, though. So we are going to go Clefable right here on the Landorus double. This does give TDK the option of getting up Stealth Rock, but ABR revealing what is more than likely his last move on Landorus, which is Knockoff. So he doesn't have HP Ice, he does have Knockoff. And that Knockoff is really big because that means that when he clicks Psychic now, Clefable, if Latios gets to 50 or even a 51 roll or 52 or whatever it is on Clefable, he doesn't recover enough to the point where Latios can just come in and just click buttons. So Pex is a really free switching right now, as he is going to go Tornadus. This can potentially Scald Burn Tornadus as well. He does opt to knock him off, maybe trying to make Gliscor's job a little bit easier, as he is going to go for Scald. More than likely get the burn. Yep, we do see a burn come out. And that really hurts because that also means that the only thing that Tornadus can actually go for to knock out Latios at that point is going to be the Z move. So TDK probably going to go for the U-turn right here, trying to get some momentum, expecting the Magearna to want to come out. Yep. So that means that now U-turn isn't going to do too much to Latios, and he has to go for that Z move. So he opts to sack Landorus, I believe, to the Facade right now, which I definitely agree with as well. Landorus doesn't do crap in this game anymore. It already did its job, honestly. Being able to defog and also getting rid of Clefable's item. This does allow him to defog right here, and Clefable gets to come in and at least get back at full, which will allow him to wall Latios. So smart play on TDK's part, getting in the Clefable right there. Wonder what the chat's saying. Magearna lost 0% of health. This is a 6-0. I don't think this is a 6-0. There's no way he's not going to get a rocks, and he can just spam it. Yeah, it doesn't matter like if he wants to go for defog repeatedly. He should go for softball just to get the. I think he should go for softball just to get Clefable at full HP as well, since he will end up beating him 1v1. So ends up with the rocks up, which means that Landorus is going to go down, and that just gives him a sack as well. I think if I was TDK, I'd go for softball here first before going Gliscor, and hoping that ABR goes for the Stealth Rock, because again, you want to at least try and be at full HP. But then again, if Latios ends up going for the... Because what ABR can just do right here is literally just softballed up with his Clefable, sack Landorus after, because he'll end up at full HP with Clefable, sack Landorus after. Not that Clefable's HP matters, it only is there just to get up rocks. But he can softball, sack Landorus, and he's Wish as well. I mean, his best play is still sacking Landorus, always. Or softballing up plus Wish, if he's like Wish softballed. So it could be Stealth Rock Wish, Moonblast softballed, or Stealth Rock Wish. Because a lot of people are actually running Magikarp Wish these days too. Cleo's a good Wish passer, and it means that if Scizor ever comes out, you get to Wish pass the Heatran always. I don't think ABR has to think much about this play at all. I still think that Latios is just going to win. Yeah. And if he ever pulls the trigger and just clicks Psychic on incoming Clef, it should be over. So, like, Clef doesn't have to be healthy necessarily. He can just sack Lando and then go right out into Latios and just click Ice Beam. But then again, like I said, where there is Hurricane, there is a way. The burn kind of makes it harder, but if he hits all his Hurricanes, he gets some nice confusion. Yep, so Clefable ends up at 100%. Like I said, pretty much as if he went for softball right there. And he could just sack Landers, bring out the Latios, and put in some damage versus him. As Latios can just come out, go for Ice Beam right here. I feel like ABR, if he's going to make an aggressive play, he's going to go for Psychic, which won't do much anyway, because Ice Beam deals with Tornadus, and Psychic is going to 2-hit KO Venusaur anyway, and Psychic will 2-hit KO Clefable. This is why I was talking about potentially Clef wanting to go for soft mode earlier, because if the Psychic roll is like, 50% average, and he's at 89%, he's not taking it. And the second TDK loses Gliscor, he loses all offensive momentum. And the fact that he has Wish on Clefable too means that even though Magearna doesn't have an Assault Vest, he can always Wish past the Magearna, always come in on Tornadus, and just Volt Switch out and keep going for Wish and bringing it back in and bringing it back out and doing damage. So if I was ABR, I mean, Ice Beam is no drawback. He's definitely going Clef. But I don't think you want to choke away a good position at this point either. I'd go Clef. I don't think ABR would go for Psychic here. Like I said, I don't think he wants to choke away a good position. Another play that ABR could do is a little bit more defensively, which is going for Recover, which deals with the switch as well, but lets him coming in later. It does throw off an Ice Beam on the incoming Clefable. Now Clefable is going to be able to go for the Softball right here, as ABR is just going to go out into his either his Heatran or his Clef, honestly. Magearna is a good play too. It's interesting because, like, with Latios being that weekend, it still forces ABR to sack a Pokemon when Gliscor goes for SD, right? Like, he can't go hard Latios, risking a crit. Latios has to go for Recover anyway, so if it gets +2, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem if it gets +2. What's the Psychic roll on Clefable anyway? That did 35. Let me see this. Clefable. Latios. $47 to $55. Yeah. Like, how they click Ice Beam right there, Clef would be gone. And all he has to do is get in. And then he'd go Tornadus, right? ABR would go Magearna. He'd bring in Gliscor. Latios would eventually come in and go for Recover, and he has to repeatedly just try and go for Hurricane Confusions to win. I think that's what the end game is going to come down to, at least TDK's part. I don't think ABR is ever going to throw away his Latios at all. And if he does, then, he's going to win with Gliscor. So, like, if ABR, for example, throws, and let's say he goes for Psychic Roll right there, as opposed to going hard Heatran, which is his play, TDK doesn't go for Softball, yep. So at least now, the roll isn't in his favor, actually. It's a higher chance to get rid of the leftovers. We can actually get the exact thing, but it's a 78% chance to 2-hit KO with Psychic. But for the most part, Latios is going to be clicking Ice Beam versus the Gliscor anyway. So maybe if he could stall out enough Ice Beams too, he could deal with it, because then Latios can win. So maybe that's another way he can win as well. I don't know. It's looking tough, man. I'm trying to commentate this without bias, but I also want to be truthful as well. Like, for example, I honestly think that ABR should just double out to Clefable right here and just go for Wish as Gliscor. No, because that gives him an SD anyway. You know, it'd be fire. ABR doubles out to Latios, expecting Gliscor to want to come in to not give him an advantage, and TDK just throws off a Moonblast. That'd be pretty flames. That'd be a really aggressive play too. TDK looks like he might time out. We are going to see the Inferno Overdrive come out from Clefable. It does 88%, my god. As Clef is going to softball that up. And that means that now TDK's Clefable goes down to the incoming attack. Heatran could also have Steel. Heatran could also have the the Flash Cannon right there. But that just means that Clefable goes down now to Ice Beam plus any attack. So Gliscor comes out. It's going to go for Roost on the incoming Latios. Latios is going to be able to Roost up if it wants to, honestly. Or it can just go for Ice Beam again and just knock out Clef, which means that he has no pivots into Latios, period. What's up, guys? Not Latios gets a kill. The moves, the switches, ABR, what is this? What are you talking about? Just switching out to his immunity. So we do see Venusaur come out. on the Ice Beam. Psychic definitely going to knock him out after anyway, just based on Ice Beam damage with Thick Fat. So Venusaur goes down, Big Bird's going to come out, and it's going to be a U-turn more than likely coming out. I don't think ABR is going to risk his Hitmon on the Supersonic Sky Strike. We do see a U-turn come out, which gives him potentially Clefable as a recovery move, or even Gliscor. Again, at that point, you don't risk Latios because Latios will get crit. So I think this is the situation where ABR wants to SD up, and or excuse me, where TDK wants to SD up, and his opponent just sack a Pokemon. Like, I think that's literally what he's gonna do. I don't think you go hard Latios here ever. You don't risk being, you don't risk losing. So yeah, you go Clef as he Swords Dances up. And then you Swords Dance again. There's no way ABR goes hard Latios on the Facade. So you SD up to +4. You get a KO on more than likely. I would get +4. Especially because Moonblast doesn't do crap. Then again, I guess ABR is trying to weaken him to the point of Psychic. But there's no way he never goes for Ice Beam anyway. Look at that damage. That's some big damage. And now it just doesn't allow him to go for Facade as well. And he's still... Is he out of range of Heron's Magma Storm? I'm not even entirely sure. Yeah, he's not out of range, so he had to go for that. So at least now he's out of range of the attack from Heatran. But again, Latios is just going to come out and just plow through him with the Ice Beam. And at that point, TDK does not have a switch in either, because Ice Beam will more than likely knock out the non-Assault Vest Tornadus, which we know it's not, especially with Stealth Rock and Burn. Ice Beam will knock out Gliscor. How many Ice Beams does he have left? 12. So at that point, Latios comes in, clicks Ice Beam plus Psychic and wins. Like, only play he can make is maybe... Yeah, they can't even do anything because Clefable takes too much. You can just double Ice Beam here. For free. Yep. So Latios being able to pick up another KO. And the second that Latios comes in again versus Gliscor, wins. So all he has to do is sack Heatran if he wants to. Or Magearna even. Either or. It literally does not matter. TDK can go for the Defog here and try and prolong the inevitable. Since the Rocker is gone, so he'll probably Defog and then try to go back out with Tornadus. Later on Latios' Ice Beam, and it'll come down to a potential crit or something like that. So you'll probably see a Defog as he goes for U-turn, which is the exact same thing. And all he has to do is just fire off. I don't think he has to do anything here. All he has to do is fire off Magma Storms to potentially win. Then again, yeah, like he doesn't have to switch at all. He goes right out on Latios. Latios picks up a KO with the Stealth Rock plus Burn, so it's more than likely going to be Gliscor, and he's going to try and win with his Tornadus right here. So I think what TDK does is he just spams Facade, and what ABR does is he just spams Ice Beam. So Latios is going to attempt to win with Hurricanes in the end, and like I said, it might come down to confusion, but Magearna being healthy, being able to take that. We do see the first one connect, so Latios goes down, and it's going to need some dodges and some luck. But TDK could do this. He needs dodges and luck. Let's see if he does this. He needs dodges from Magearna. He needs to hit. He needs to confusion. And ABR needs to consistently hit himself. Well, we don't see it end up coming out. And this does give him the Flare Cannon. That's going to be game. So that means that the Wi-Fi Wolfpack do win SPL. I believe this game would have definitely been differently had the Mana Zone not been frozen. Especially because he got so much momentum immediately with Facade early on Latios, but at that point TDK was just really fighting from the back. Thank you for watching though. I hope you guys all enjoy it. Hopefully my commentary wasn't too bad. Wasn't the most exciting game, definitely, but still, the Wi-Fi Wolfpack end up winning SPL this year. The 1 year I'm not on them, man. I've been on them for like 5 years. And yeah, congratulations to them. Congratulations to the Raiders for making it so far. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, my friends.